Having received the information from the league on Draymond and the wake up what happened the other night, do you have any reaction to the way it turned out?
A little confused. I don't know how you get fined 25 grand for being attacked. So I don't know. It's seemed like maybe there's some prior reputation involved. I don't know. But I haven't really talked to the league. I haven't talked to Bob. I just saw the news myself. And some curious stuff in there. Oubre, it looked to me like Oubre came out there running into the crowd and caused a lot more. And Draymond was, he was the one who was attacked in the first place. So it seemed like maybe those fines could have been reversed, but it's not my job, fortunately.
Steve, you mentioned the other day, the first technical, you found Draymond to be pretty respectful of that interaction. How have you seen him kind of evolve with that approach these last few years?
That might be a stretch.
Okay. Well, or may have not have been involved.
No, he was. I mean, I'm one to talk, right? I mean, I scream at those guys all the time, and Draymond and I are probably the two most fiery guys on the floor when it comes to being demonstrative and complaining. And but Draymond has gotten better. He was better the other night. He was complaining about the call. It was a flop, and they called an offensive foul on him, and he said, "What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to post up? We got a tech for that." I thought he should have had a delay of game, but it was a tech, and to me it was the wrong call.
Hi, Steve. Yesterday it was announced the Warriors Community Foundation is donating $1.2 million in grants to a bunch of local organizations, one of which is the East Bay College Fund, which I know you have a couple of visitors from attending the game tonight. Can you just tell us a little bit more about your involvement with that program?
Yeah, I met the East Bay College Fund people last year at a similar night where they had some guests in town, and I was just blown away by what they're doing in terms of fundraising, but also mentoring kids in the Bay Area, particularly in the East Bay, sending them to college, providing mentoring, counseling. It's a great program, and so it's become kind of my personal charity through the Warriors Foundation, and so I'm really pleased to be able to contribute, and thrilled that the Warriors Foundation is directly involved.
Was there a specific reason you chose college tuition over any other cause?
I just I felt strongly about it. The mentoring part was really, I think, the key. It's one thing to donate money, which is a huge part of it, but to contribute the mentoring and the advice and the moral support is a huge part of what young people need when they go off to college, and so that's what attracted me, I think.
Just wondering the inactives tonight.
DJ obviously is down in Santa Cruz, and Jordan Bell will be inactive again. I'm in a really tough spot. It's a good spot, but it's a tough spot. I don't know who I should deactivate. I mean, everybody deserves to be active. But Looney played so well the other night. We're going to need JaVale tonight going against Drummond. Oubre played really well. I mean, there's up and down the roster. McCaw. Obviously, the vets. Most of the vets are safe, but not many other people are safe right now. So I went with the rookie, and usually this stuff sorts itself out as we go. Guys get banged up, and it's easy to maybe rest somebody on a back-to-back. But right now it's tricky to try to locate the guy that we should make inactive.
Steve, you mentioned the other night 5 plays that were forgotten coming out of a timeout. Was that really the number? And Kevin said things were so emotional that game that maybe guys weren't as focused. He said that after you had come in the other night.
Well, that's a good time to be focused, is when things are emotional. But it's harder to be, and that's the discipline that I've been talking about the last couple of weeks, the mental discipline. When things really get heated, can you execute? The best teams do that. In the finals last year, we did that. But it's not the finals. It's early in the season, and we're not ready to do that. It was 3 plays that we did not execute coming out of the timeout. And then there were 2 others where we just didn't communicate the play. So, we had a play called fist side. It's really easy hand signal. Everybody know what that is?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be that hard. The whole team, if the whole team just went like this, everybody would know what we were in. So we called that play. Nobody actually went like that. It's just hold a mouthpiece. What was that? I think he said, I don't know. There's no reason for that. And obviously I gave away that Steph, with the mouthpiece was the first guy, but 5 guys should be signaling. When we have an easy hand signal for a play, 5 guys should be doing that. And when none of them are doing that, then you know that there's confusion. And it's obviously on me, because unless we're doing it, and I haven't taught them well enough, so we got to keep working on that.
You partially answered this question about picking the right guys for your bench and how to use them in a particular game. How soon do you start doing that for the next game? And what is it really based on? Is it a combination of things? Do you consult with other coaches about what you think a certain guy is going to fit in a particular game?
Yeah, it's a little different each game. Generally, it's on matchups. Usually, it's on most teams that I've either been on or that I've coached. It's been pretty simple. You take the rookie, you take the guy who doesn't play, but we play everybody. So we sent DJ down to Santa Cruz. He was the obvious one on the depth chart. He wouldn't be active if he were here because of the depth chart. That would be an automatic. So he needs to play, which is why we sent him down. But the other 14 guys, they all deserve to play. They're all good enough. They've all made a mark. They've all contributed. And so then it comes down to matchups or just how I feel that day, I guess.
Klay finishes up his charitable thing for fires tonight. What do you think about that idea and what he's doing?
I love that he's doing that on his own. Shows how much he cares, shows how much he's matured over the years, that this was something he came up with and he's gone for it, and already contributing $40,000. Obviously a lot more tonight. Let's hope he goes for about 60. That'd be great. But I'm proud of him, and just like I'm proud of all of our guys. They do a lot of work in the community. They care. It's very meaningful.
Do you think much of what Klay does is often overshadowed on and off the court because he's playing such strong personalities?
Yeah. I said the other night, I think Klay's been our most consistent player this year through 6 games. We've been able to rely on him every single night at both ends. He's shooting the ball incredibly well. He's guarding the toughest player with the ball, whether it's Harden or John Wall a lot. Guys who are coming downhill at him. He's been our best box-out guy on a consistent basis of our regulars. A lot of our other guys are just turning and watching the ball go up. He's boxing out every time. A lot of time he's paired with a big guy because there's been a switch. So his box-outs have been great. He hasn't forgotten a single play coming out of a timeout. He's been our most consistent performer night in and night out. And there's no way I would have said that 3 years ago. He had a lot of holes in his game that were all obviously fixable because of his talent and his size and his strength. Most of it was mental, and he's got that mental toughness now and focus to go along with his talent.
Steve, the Pistons got what some might call an improbable win last night, giving the Clippers their first loss.
Oh.
And so what I'd like to know is what impresses you about the Detroit Pistons, and what are your points of emphasis for tonight's game?
They're playing a lot differently this year. They're running a lot more perimeter movement stuff, Princeton action, dribble handoffs with Drummond. They've got a lot of interchangeable parts. Stanley Johnson and their group of wings that seems to be interchangeable. So they're really impressive. I like the way they're playing. They're tough defensively. They're disciplined. and you know they're going to be tough to beat. They won on the road against an undefeated team last night, so it'll be a tough game.
Steve, you mentioned some of the Pistons' offensive retooling with Drummond, especially in the DHOs. What makes him so difficult to guard with the rebounding and everything else that he does inside and now in that new role that he has?
Well, he's just a physical force. You know, when he rolls to the rim, it's really hard to stop that. Whether he's catching a lob or just catching the ball in the middle of the paint, he's so strong and powerful. So you have to commit a lot of attention to him, and that opens up the whole floor. All right.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for speaking.